The Infernal Dispatch, Episode 26, Ashes of Order, America's Fractured Dominion. Brothers, sisters, and seekers of shadow, welcome back to the Infernal Dispatch. This is Episode 26, Ashes of Order, America's Fractured Dominion. The mask of America has begun to peel. The smiling face of order, of power, of control, it flakes like ash in the wind. Beneath it lies something raw, something sick, something crumbling. And yet in this slow-motion collapse, there is an opportunity for those with eyes to see and the will to seize. Tonight, we strip away the pretense of stability. We pull back the veil on a dominion rotting at its foundations. This isn't collapse for collapse's sake. This is transformation by fire. A controlled demolition by the hand of history, and perhaps by darker forces still. The illusion of stability. For generations, Americans have been taught to believe in the myth of permanence, the Constitution as scripture, the economy as endless growth, the military as unstoppable. But myths rot when tested by reality. The truth is that all empires fracture. Rome, Babylon, Carthage, each believed they would last forever. Each was swallowed by decay, greed, or fire from without. America is no different. The cracks are no longer subtle. They are visible in daily life. Prices rise while wages shrink. Political leaders bicker like spoiled children. Institutions once revered, courts, Congress, media, are now distrusted by the very people they claim to serve. Stability was always a mirage. Now the desert is revealed. Political rot. The so-called leaders of this nation have become hollow figures. Left, right, center, it does not matter. They speak to their tribes, not to their people. They serve donors, not citizens. Polarization has grown into weaponized hatred. The population is split into camps that no longer speak the same language. Families fracture at dinner tables. Online, rage simmers into violence. And through it all, politicians smile, knowing division feeds their power. The republic is no longer governed. It is managed like a decaying estate. A caretaker watches as weeds choke the land, making sure only that the gates remain locked. The house is rotting, yet the sign outside still reads, "Home of the Free." Economic decay. Look at the empire of money. The dollar, once feared, once unmatched, is now questioned abroad. Nations trade outside its shadow. The debt climbs into the stratosphere. Inflation devours savings. But the sickness runs deeper. The very idea of the American dream has collapsed. Home ownership drifts out of reach. Families live paycheck to paycheck. Young workers drown in debt before they can even begin. The dream is a ghost that mocks them in their sleep. Meanwhile, corporations fatten themselves at the feast. Billionaires build rocket ships while millions ration food. The divide grows, not by inches, but by oceans. Economic fracture becomes social fracture, and social fracture becomes national decline. Cultural breakdown. Order survives only when culture binds people together. But America's cultural glue has melted. Whereas once there were shared values, now there is only suspicion. Neighbors do not trust neighbors. Cities do not trust states. The nation itself cannot even agree on what it is. Every symbol is now contested ground. Every word is a battlefield. And without a shared story, a nation is nothing but a collection of strangers forced under one roof. That roof now leaks. The floorboards creak. And storm clouds gather. The ashes of order. So, where does this leave us? A crumbling economy, fractured politics, broken culture. These are not separate failures. They are connected. Together, they signaled the slow death of American dominion. But here, dear listeners, is where we differ from the blind masses. For us, this collapse is not tragedy, it is opportunity. Order, as it exists, is an enemy. It binds, restricts, and deceives. It tells you how to live, who to serve, what to believe. When order fractures, freedom expands. When institutions weaken, new paths open. The ashes of order are fertile soil. What grows there depends on who dares to plant seeds. Fire as transformation. Fire destroys, but it also purifies. A forest burns, and in its ash, new life takes root. Old growth falls, new growth thrives. America is burning. Its myths, its power, its illusions, they turn to cinders. But for the awakened, for those who walk with the fire of shadow, this is not something to fear, it is something to embrace. Because when order falls, the chains of the many loosen. And in that chaos, individuals, movements, and even darker dominions can rise. Fire is not the end. Fire is the beginning. The fractured dominion. This fractured dominion is not yet rubble. It still stands, though unsteady. But every day the cracks widen. The collapse is not a matter of if, but when. Some will cling to the old order, trying desperately to tape its broken bones back together. They will scream of patriotism, unity, and return to tradition. But the past does not return. Decay cannot be reversed. And others will see opportunity. They will step into the void. They will carve out new systems, new communities, new centers of power. These are the ones who will inherit the ashes. And among them will be those who understand the true lesson of fire, that in destruction lies the seed of dominion, not of the many, but of the few. Conclusion. America's fractured dominion is not a cautionary tale. It is a prophecy unfolding in real time. The illusion of stability is gone. Political rot, economic decay, and cultural breakdown have made collapse inevitable. But collapse is not the end. Collapse is transformation. Collapse is the devil's breath upon the world, sweeping away illusions and burning false idols. The feast is nearly ready. The fire consumes the old. The ashes wait for the bold. And when the dust settles, who will rise? That, my friends, is the question. And in the shadows, perhaps the answer already whispers. This has been the Infernal Dispatch, Episode 26, Ashes of Order, America's Fractured Dominion. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your fire burning, and your will unbroken. Hail, Satan.